Hello and welcome to Prep Eve, where we revolutionize how you prepare for IELTS. Today we'll be taking up the second last subtype of the last directive, and that will be cause and effect directive. So today's agenda is essay directive, cause and effect, and along with that we'll also understand the third parameter, which is lexical resources. So hello everyone, good evening. Hi Richa, thank you so much, and this session will be even better. So I would request you to watch all the previous sessions so that you have a good background and you have a better understanding of how we have reached to our ninth or 10th session today. Good evening, Anu. Good evening, Raman. So, good evening, everyone who has joined us, and also the first time viewers, good evening. And you might feel a little difficulty today because you haven't followed up with us for the previous few sessions. So don't worry, whatever you can take in from today's session, that'll be good enough. And for more information, you can check out our previous sessions, previous live videos. We'll be sharing the link of the playlist in the description box, so you can click on that and have a look at all the live sessions and get a better understanding of how we reached till this particular session. Okay, so let's get started. This is our website, do visit it, and if you have any queries, you can ask us. So, repeating the agenda, it is essay directive, cause and effect, which comes under the category of describe or effect kind of questions. And along with that, we'll be understanding the third parameter, which is lexical resource. A little about us. We started our IELTS journey wherein we trained so many students and had so many successful stories. It's been 3 years now. We have catered to the needs of 35,000 plus students through our YouTube channel and still counting. Plus, we have also offered our one-to-one services to our students who were more than 1,500 by now, and we have unbeatable quality when it comes to our trainers. So needless to say, let's move on with the very first slide of the day. So we also discussed about this in yesterday's class, and I'll be revisiting everything once again so that the ones who are watching us for the first time get a better understanding, and the ones who have already watched it yesterday revise it and understand it thoroughly. Okay. Good evening, hello. Okay, so what is lexical resource all about? It is broadly used as vocabulary in common day-to-day conversations, and you're like, vocabulary is equivalent to lexical resource. That's not it. Yes, vocabulary contributes to a major part of this parameter, but that's not it. We have other major things that we should be taking care of, such as the spellings. Your spellings also fall under the lexical resource parameter. So if you misspell words, and if you misspell words to the extent that the reader or the examiner does not understand anything, in that case particularly, you would be scored lower in your lexical resource parameter. So one thing is that then your word choices, word formation, and also ultimately your vocabulary, there should be no repetitions. What is lexical resource parameter all about? It covers all these things. So let's have a look at the band 4 descriptor. Where do you go wrong if you're scoring 4 band scores? So read with me and follow whatever this particular sentence is saying. So if you're scoring 4 band scores, you have used only basic vocabulary. First of all is basic vocabulary, which may be used repetitively. Secondly, you have repeated the basic vocabulary that you're using, or which may be inappropriate for the task. So the task could be talking about environment and you're writing words related to, let's say, corruption. So I know this is a far-fetched example, but you're getting my point. So your wordings or your vocabulary should also be topic specific, or should be related to the task at hand. So there are three keywords in this particular sentence. Basic vocabulary is used. Number two, it's repeated. Number three, it is used inappropriately considering the task at hand. So if you're making these three mistakes, then undoubtedly you will be scoring 4 band scores. What's the second point here? The second bullet point says has limited control of word formation. You do not know how to change the word formation. Word formation basically means, like in today's essay, you can write, you can change obesity to obese. Okay, so that's changing word formation. And or spelling. So you also struggle with spellings. So this is another problem here. Then errors may cause strain for the reader. This is one biggest blunder. If you're making such errors which confuse the reader or which put strain on the mind of the reader कि आप कहना क्या चाहते हो, or what word has been written, because if the word has been misspelled or is written incorrectly to the extent that the reader is unable to understand you, then you will be scoring a 4 band score. Alright, so if you're scoring 4 bands here, you will be needing tremendous amount of practice. Alright, let's move on to 7 band score, which is our target range. Itna to aana hi chahiye. So what's our target range? Let's quickly read about it as well. So it uses a significant range of vocabulary to allow some flexibility and precision. So you use significant range of vocabulary. Here it was basic vocabulary. In case of 7 band scores, it's significant range of vocabulary to allow some flexibility and precision. Uses less common lexical items with some awareness of style and collocation. So you use less common lexical items, which means you're using topic specific vocabulary, you're using words that are not very commonly used, so you're using rare terminologies, and also you're aware about the style and collocation. So collocations are two words, usually one verb associated with the noun, which should be combined together or used together, because that's the only way they'll be sounding right to the native speaker. Okay, so these two words go hand in hand. The third thing is may produce occasional errors in word choice. Your word choice might be incorrect, and there could be spellings and errors with word formation. So this is what you might do or might commit in case you're scoring a 7 band score. So we should also be avoiding these things, and ideally we should use wide range of vocabulary with very natural and sophisticated control of lexical features. Rare minor errors occur only as slips. गलतियाँ सबसे होती हैं. To err is to human, so everybody makes mistakes, and mistakes are common. Mistakes make us human, so there's nothing to worry about. एक आधी गलती चलती है. So you can make a few mistakes, but they should not be too many. So rare and minor errors occur only as slips. However, apart from that, you have to use wide range of vocabulary in a very natural and sophisticated manner. Okay. Hi Dhruvi, how are you? Today is your first day. Welcome here. I hope you like the session. Amritpal, we did not take up the essay writing challenge because of the lockdown. It was actually done because we wanted you to learn a lot. So we can do that provided we feel that there's a need to do so, because I don't want to repeat myself in every session. So if there is something new to tell or discuss, we'll continue with this challenge. Otherwise, we'll move on to maybe some other module. So yes. All right, so any doubts with regards to this particular slide? Hi Vinesh. So this is the third parameter. We have already discussed the first two parameters, which are task response, and coherence and cohesion. So if anyone has any doubts with regards to those two parameters, you can go back and watch those videos and also comment your doubts in the comment section. All right, I'm moving ahead. So these are the 4 things that you should be keeping in your mind to increase your band scores in the lexical resource parameter. So what are these 4 things? Number 1, to get a 9 band score here, wide range of vocabulary. So you need to showcase wide range of vocabulary. Now, how can we showcase wide range of vocabulary? Wide range of vocabulary can be showcased if we avoid repetition of words. If we stop repeating ourselves and if we stop repeating words, in that case, we'll showcase wide range of vocabulary. Now, how can we stop these repetitions? These repetitions can be stopped if we use synonyms or similar meaning words. So if you use similar meaning words or synonyms, you will end up showcasing wide range of vocabulary. Now this should be remembered as soon as you rewrite a word in your essay or in your letter or in your report writing. You must think of another word that's similar to that or is a synonym, and you can replace it with that word. So this should be inculcated in you. Remember this thing throughout your IELTS journey, that you should not be repeating any word. Please remember this thoroughly. Do not repeat words. 1 or 2 words can be repeated in worst case scenarios, but we should try that we do not repeat any words. We'll use synonyms instead. What about appropriate collocations? The second thing to increase your lexical resource is to use appropriate collocations. Now, how can we use appropriate collocations? To do that, you have to use words and phrases that go together naturally and sound correct to the native listener. Now, there are certain words that do not go together naturally. If you use those 2 words together, they sound incorrect. So you do not have to use those words. And one of the examples is, when will you take the IELTS test? This is the right usage of collocation. With test, you use the verb take instead of give. Some of you always use this thing that I am going to give my test on 30th April, or I took my test last month. So that's incorrect. Sorry, I took my test last month is correct. I gave my test last month is incorrect. So instead of give or gave or giving, you have to use take, took, or taking in case of talking about the test. Okay, so you have to make sure that you use appropriate collocations. And a lot of you would ask me, how do we learn collocations? So my suggestion is simply this, that you cannot memorize all the collocations. There would be n number of collocations available, and if you start learning all of them, it would make no sense, because ultimately you will not even use all of them. So all you have to do is keep writing, get your writings evaluated by a trained personal or a trained IELTS teacher, and eventually while they're assessing and evaluating your writings, they'll tell you if you've misused or if you have incorrectly used a collocation, and they'll correct you. So that's the only way of correcting yourself. Okay. Okay, so words and phrases. Phrases are basically 2 or 3 words combined together, which are not complete sentences, but 2, 3 words. Okay, so words or phrases actually mean the same thing. Uncommon lexical resources. The third thing to increase your band score in the lexical resource parameter is to use uncommon vocabulary or use topic specific vocabulary. Now, whenever the question is associated with one kind of topic, it's good to use words related to that topic. So we'll be discussing today's topic by keeping in mind the topic specific vocabulary. I'll be asking you the words which can be used in the question that we'll be discussing today. So you'll have to tell me the topic specific vocabulary, and we'll be doing that. And before we move on, the last and the final way of increasing your band scores in the lexical resource parameter is that you have to use correct spellings. Try not to misspell words, especially do not make silly spelling mistakes. A lot of people make mistakes with the word problem. Problem. They would swap B and M by mistake. And there are many such mistakes that are very silly in nature, but still a lot of you guys commit it because you don't proofread your essay or proofread your writings properly. So always proofread. The only way of correcting your spellings is to proofread your essays and learn them properly. So these are the only ways of improving your spellings. All right. Okay, Vignesh is asking about idea generation. Probably you have joined our session for the first time. In all our live sessions, we have had a brainstorming session and we have learned ways of idea generation. So in today's session also we'll be doing that, and then you can understand how to generate ideas. And always put yourself into the shoes of the question and imagine yourself in the situation and then try to think about the ideas. Okay, so clear with this slide, we have to showcase wide range of vocabulary by using synonyms, use appropriate collocations. And how do we use appropriate collocations? By getting ourselves evaluated and our essays evaluated by a trainer. So just in case you have used incorrectly, they'll be correcting you and telling you what's the right way of writing the collocations. The third step is to use uncommon words and topic specific vocabulary. The last but not the least is to use correct spellings. Okay. And now before we move on to the different directives, I have a good news for you guys. So that would be coming in the following slides. So you have to stay tuned with me, and I hope you like this particular segment and you'll enjoy it. So right now back to the directives. So there are three directives: choose a side, view both sides, describe and explain. And each of them has subtypes. So we have already dealt with these three. So choose a side has the first subtype, which is agree or disagree. The second one is to what extent do you agree or disagree. The third one is give your opinion. So the ones who are watching us for the very first time, all these three categories, all these three subtypes have already been discussed in the previous live sessions. So don't worry, those are in our playlist and all of them are saved. So you can go back and have a look at each one of them after the session. The second major category is view both sides, and it has four subtypes. Number one is advantage, disadvantage. Number two is advantage, disadvantage plus opinion. Number three is discuss both sides. Number four is discuss plus opinion, and this also has been taken up in the previous sessions. So we just covered this recently. So yet again, don't worry, go back, watch all those live sessions. And in case any one of you has any doubt, you guys can comment in the comment section and we'll be more than happy to help you out and reply there. Now this is what we started yesterday, describe and explain kind of questions. So this is the third broad category, and under this broad category we have three subtypes. The first one is problem solution kind of questions, which we dealt with yesterday. Today we'll be taking up cause and effect question, which is this one. And tomorrow, in fact tomorrow is Sunday, so on Monday we'll be taking up direct questions. Okay, so these are the three broad types. Yes, so this is what I was talking about. We'll be having live evaluations. 4 essays will be randomly picked from the entries sent and evaluated live in front of you from Tuesday onwards. So from Tuesday, we'll be taking up one essay every day from what you guys have sent to us, and we'll be evaluating your essay live during the session. All right. So all you have to do is send your essays on this email ID, which is prepeve@gmail.com, and I'll randomly pick one essay for each question type, and I'll be discussing that particular essay in detail, keeping in mind all the four parameters, and I will be showing you how we evaluate one such essay in our one-to-one personalized guidance courses. Okay, so the questions would be given to you at the end of the session, and you have to pick any one of the question and write on it and send it to us on our email ID. So I hope you like this surprise, because one of four of you would get this opportunity to know your mistakes live by me. All right, so I hope you like this. All right, so getting back to our session today, this is the question of the day. Childhood obesity is becoming a serious problem in many countries. Explain the main causes and its alarming effects in the future. So, this is your question. This is cause and effect. If you notice, these are the causes, and they've also asked the effects. So, it falls under the cause and effect type of question. Thank you so much, guys. I'll be looking forward for your entries. So do send your entries to me so that I can pick up one of them and evaluate on each of the 4 days. All right. Okay, getting back to the question. Quickly read out the question and understand the meaning of the question, and we will start discussing it. So the keywords here are childhood obesity. They're not talking about obesity in adults or in any other age group. They're just talking about childhood, and then they're saying it's becoming a serious problem in many countries. Okay, it's becoming a serious problem in many countries. This is just a statement yet again. All IELTS questions have first statement as a fact. So first statement is just a fact, it's just stating something. The first sentence is just stating something or is a fact. And the second sentence is usually asking you the question. So now the question starts from here, explain the main causes. What are the main causes? And its alarming effects in the future. What would be the alarming effects of this in the future? So this is your question, and you have to first tell me what are the causes of obesity in childhood. Okay, Piyush, you were very quick. So he has written junk food, no physical work, or less physical exercise. Perfectly fine, good job. Sedentary lifestyle and dietary issues, perfectly fine, good job. Lack of nutrient, okay. Do you think lack of nutrient leads to obesity? Is that true? High consumption of junk food, good job, just breathe. Amritpal says, ऐसे देख के बेइज्जती ना करना मैम. No, I'm not going to make fun of you guys or your writings, because I am a trainer, I am a teacher. Teacher would never make fun of their students. So I am here to help you out and not make fun of your writings. So stay rest assured, give your best writings, view the previous sessions, revise how I've done it. I've already written like 7 to 8 essays. So you can pause my previous essays, have a look at how I have written it, and you can take some ideas from there, and then you can write on the question that we give you. Okay, couch potatoes, lack of exercise, fast food, lack of exercise, indulging in overeating of junk food, unbalanced diet, no outdoor activities, addiction of various gadgets. Okay. Stress, alarming effects. Okay. Cool. So you guys are pretty fast. Let's write it down somewhere. Okay, so this is your question right here, and we are starting our brainstorming. Okay, so first of all, we'll be starting with the causes, and okay, so you're saying high consumption of junk food, and other words that someone used was processed food. Perfectly fine. Good job. Lack of physical exercise. Okay. Sedentary lifestyle. Lifestyle. Or you can say lack of physical exercise. Good job, guys. What else? Workaholic lifestyle. Sumandeep, what's the keyword in the question? Childhood obesity. Do children work? Are children workaholic? So this is the reason you need to understand the question appropriately so that you don't deviate from the question and you just answer what the question is saying. Now, let me tell you one thing very clearly, Sumandeep, and all the other people who were thinking of writing workaholic lifestyle. The thing is that even though that's one reason or that's one cause of obesity, but it's not the cause of obesity in children. Right now, the focus of the question is on children, and if you end up talking about adults or about employees or about the generation that is working, then the answer would be absolutely incorrect and you will be scored less on your very first parameter, which is task response parameter. So this is what happens when you do not get yourself evaluated from a trainer. You will never figure out that you have incorrectly written an idea in your first body paragraph. So it's very important to take feedback from anyone who you think is experienced enough to do so. I hope I'm clear, Sumandeep. Okay, Rosie Reddy says lack of physical exercise. We have already covered that. Anu says family factors. Very good. So I would use genetic disorder or genetic reasons. Bharat also says the same thing. Genetic factors. Good job, guys. Hereditary, so that's also fine. You can use that word here as well. Okay, what else? Okay, I guess more or less you have used the same points. So, good job, guys. I'm just reading the last few here. Neil says they stuck at mobile phones and computers. So that could be the reasoning for this point. When you're talking about the sedentary lifestyle, when you're talking about the second point, you will be giving that as an explanation. You'll be saying something that, for example, you will say, secondly, lack of exercise or sedentary lifestyle is the major reason behind obesity because people these days, or you'll say children these days, spend most of their time in playing video games rather than going out and playing outdoor sports or physical or doing any sort of physical activity. So this would come under your explanation of the second point. So you don't have to write it separately that they play a lot of video games or sit in front of screens. That would basically be a part of this particular point. Okay. play a lot of indoor games. That's an okay point, Sohil. Okay. Due to medicine side effects, Priyanka, that would be fine. I mean, I won't say that that's not a reason, but that's not a major contributor to obesity in children. I don't think many children take medicines. And if at all you're talking about the genetic factor, like because the parents are obese and it's hereditary in the family, then yes, definitely we have already covered that part in the third bullet point, right? Okay. Okay, so Sohail has also written too much homework from school leads to lack of exercise. Okay, I don't think that's true. I mean, lack of physical exercise, one major reason would be because the children these days are playing PUBG, Fortnite, or they're playing games like Candy Crush and stuff. So that's one reason, or they're watching a lot of television and surfing the internet. I don't think anybody avoids physical exercise because they're doing their homework. I don't think anybody would prefer doing their homework rather than going out and playing with their friends. So it's a little difficult for me to digest. However, if you want to give that as a reasoning, you can do so. For me, a better reasoning for sedentary lifestyle or lack of physical exercise would be that they prefer staying indoors, glued to their screens and watching movies or playing video games online rather than outdoor sports. Okay. Cool. Good job, guys. You've almost covered everything. Now let's move on to the effects. So, what would be the effects of obesity in the future? So, here let me just highlight the question. We have discussed the main causes. Now, we are discussing the alarming effects in the future. No playgrounds. Okay, I can say that. No playgrounds could be one another point. So, we'll write lack of facilities. So this will be your point, and your explanation could be that they do not have enough playgrounds, or you can say sports facilities, right? Okay, we are moving on to the effects. Guys, please tell me certain effects. Okay, so people have talked about fact only says diabetes, Sunrise Mobile says heart disease, Bhupinder Singh Chawla says prone to serious ailments like, so it won't be like, it would be such as sugar. So instead of sugar, you'll be writing diabetes. Um, okay. Lack of confidence is not a physical disorder, so please make sure you write it correctly. Okay, Rupinder's score says heart problems, not physically active, short life, negative impact on eyesight. Okay, so far everybody was mentioning it correctly. Jagdev Singh, why do you talk about negative impact on the eyesight? Obesity has nothing to do with eyesight. Eyesight is not related to being fat or being overweight. Okay, so whatever I've taken out from your comments or chat so far is that number one, instead of writing diabetes, heart disease, blood pressure separately, we'll write lifestyle diseases. Okay, so this is basically the right way of writing topic specific vocabulary. This is what they call topic specific vocabulary. When you use the word lifestyle diseases, it is a topic specific word and it's used only in case of a question that is talking about disorders. Okay, so lifestyle diseases, here you can write about diabetes, blood pressure, cardiovascular diseases, heart disease, heart attacks, etc. etc. Okay, what else? Hi Sahil, please give some suggestions for the effects. Obesity might lead to anxiety. Now you have to really think about that. I know, see, obesity has nothing to do with eating disorders such as bulimia nervosa or anorexia. Okay, I know about these disorders. These are psychological disorders. This is like basically because of some mental condition. It's not because you're fat or you're overweight. Okay, it's not directly related to that. Piyush, now that's a funny doubt. Can we say turning overweight also let your new dresses don't fit and need to be replaced quick? No. That is a very personal problem or personal effect of obesity. So, no, you don't have to write that. You have to write from the individual perspective. How is the individual going to get affected in the long run, majorly with regards to the health? And secondly, you can also think from the perspective of the country or uh, the medical healthcare centers. So I'm dividing this particular effects into two parts. Please stay with me on this. The first one is how the individual is going to get affected. Okay, and the other one is the medical healthcare centers. Okay, let's see what you guys have written. Okay, mortality rate. Good point. So if you're saying the age decreases or death rate increase, you can say mortality rate. Mortality rate increases, you can say lifespan reduces, or you can say longevity. Longevity decreases. So lifespan and longevity are synonyms. Basically, lifespan or longevity means the number of years you will survive or the number of years you will live. So I hope you guys are understanding that along with brainstorming, we are also discussing topic specific vocabulary, right? So if you notice, each point has vocabulary that is related to this particular topic. So we are doing two things at the same time. Okay, so we are also thinking about the ideas, and simultaneously I am writing words that you can use in this essay, and they are particularly related to the lexical resource parameter. Okay, so longevity, lifespan, mortality rate would rise, and lifespan and longevity would decrease, and mortality rate or death rate would increase. Okay. So weak immunity due to lack of nutritious food, diseases, effects related to aforementioned causes, diet, okay, age ratio or average life expectancy, okay. So good point, Richa. So we have already talked about this actually, death, mortality rate, lifespan, longevity, and you have written average life expectancy. So yes, you can talk about life expectancy. So these are more or less related to each other. Expectancy. Okay. All right. So what else? So we have talked about physiological diseases. We have talked about death rate. And now some of you were also talking about lack of confidence. So we can talk about psychological impact. Now, how is the psyche of an obese person impacted? So you can say they'll be bullied. So a lot of people make fun of overweight children. Even their classmates make fun of them, and that would lead to long-term effects on their psychology. So it could lead to low self-esteem or confidence. It can also lead them to becoming shy, introvert, okay, and they might have poor interpersonal skills. Now this is not always true. This is just one way of writing. Not all obese or overweight children have psychological issues. Let me be very clear. This is what is to be written from a broad perspective, okay. All of the obese children will also not have lifestyle diseases, so let's be broad minded from that aspect and do not get into the technicalities here. Okay, so these are the psychological effect, and the reasoning would be that they would be bullied because of their appearance, and that's the reason they might end up having low self-esteem or confidence, and they might become shy and introvert and avoid people. They might withdraw from the society. Okay, so these are the psychological effects. Here you can start the point by using the word physiological. So basically, what's the difference between physiological and psychological? Physiological basically means your physical health, and psychologically means your mental health. So physiological health, you'll be talking about the lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, hypertension. Instead of blood pressure, you can write hypertension, and you can talk about cardiovascular diseases, heart attacks, and other such diseases. In case of psychological or mental effect, you can talk about these things. Okay, any other ideas? Uh, Thank you, Rohini. Thank you so much. Sumandeep Kaur says tensions on governments and economies of nations in future for keeping healthy to people suffering from various. Okay, I get your idea, but your sentence structure is incorrect. So far we have discussed how the individual would be impacted. Physical health, mental health, death rate would increase. So we have discussed what would impact or how the individuals would get affected. Now, how would the nation or the healthcare sector get affected? So here we can say overburden. Overburden on the doctors and nurses. Okay, because if so many children are obese right from their childhood, ultimately when they become adults, they'll face all these lifestyle diseases as well, and these would increase the burden on the doctors and nurses, because a lot of citizens or a lot of adults would end up being unhealthy and unfit. So we can say it would lead to overburdening of doctors and nurses. So we're also seeing a similar situation in case of COVID-19 these days. The doctors and nurses are overburdened to the extent that I cannot even express here. All I can say is, if there is anyone who's viewing me right now and who is a doctor or a nurse or is in any way related to the medical healthcare sector, I just want to thank you guys for being with us, for helping us out, not just in this COVID-19 situation, but in general also. We really are blessed that you guys chose this profession of medical healthcare and became doctors and nurses and the assistants who help the doctors in their functioning. A big, huge salute to you guys, and thank you so much for doing whatever you're doing and risking your life in this actual situation of the coronavirus outbreak. So, thank you so much once again. Okay, so coming back to the question, I was a little taken away. Okay, Farhood, there are never enough ideas. Even if we discuss 10 ideas, it's more than enough. You might come up with a similar topic in some other essay, and you might be asked a similar question in your speaking or in your writing. So it's always good to brainstorm and think about as many ideas as you can. So Wish Goswami says, "Hello, ma'am. I have left all the lectures. What should I do for it?" We have a playlist. We'll be sharing the link in the chat right now in a couple of minutes, and you can click on that and access all the previous videos. Okay. Oh my God, so many messages. I can't keep track of it. One second, guys. Okay, lifespan, Sunrise Mobile says feeling of isolation that has been covered in shy, introvert, withdrawal from society. Uh, Lack of energy, weak immunity, all of that comes under lifestyle diseases and mortality rate. Abnormal bone growth. No, no, that's not correct here. Lifespan decreases, it's covered. Stigmatization, here you can talk about stigmatization and bullying. So, stigma, being bullied. So, you can give this as the reasoning. Lack of confidence to face people or go to public meetings. Perfectly fine, Bhupinder. Okay, Sahil says it can lead to laziness and lack of concentration on work. I'm not sure about this point. It's okay. Okay, guys, good job. Fact only says government have to pay more funds behind citizens to provide healthcare. Good point. Okay, mental stress and insecurity, anxiety, poor performance in sports, can't play sports. Okay. Body shame, very good point. So bullying and body shame is the same, but body shame is a good point from the perspective of topic specific vocabulary. So body shame, good point. This was given by Akansha. Good job, Akansha. Okay, Richa says average young age of nation becomes unhealthy. Very good point. So basically, we'll be saying that unproductive youth or unhealthy youth. So basically, the youth is going to be unproductive because they are not healthy and they cannot work in the appropriate manner if they were healthy. So it really matters if you're not feeling good from within, if you're not active, enthusiastic, and healthy, you will not be able to give the output that you would normally do if you were perfectly fit and fine. So fund allocation, perfectly fine. Okay. Okay, so Vinesh is asking how can obesity in children lead to burden on doctors and nurses? So basically, if a child is overweight, and the question says that childhood obesity is becoming a serious problem in many countries. So it's increasing. And if the child is overweight, then eventually in their future, what will happen is that they will be prone to a lot of lifestyle diseases. So if they're prone to lifestyle diseases, they will end up being a burden on doctors and nurses because they would keep on visiting the doctors and nurses for heart issues, for diabetes, for blood pressure or hypertension. So all these issues and visits to the doctors would increase the burden on them. Amritpal, get your plate here. You don't have to go have your dinner, okay? Just stay here, have your dinner while you're listening to me. Okay, so that's it. Now, if you notice, these are the also the topic specific words: sedentary lifestyle, genetic, hereditary, consumption of junk or processed food, physiological health, mortality rate, lifespan, longevity, life expectancy, psychological effect, low esteem, confidence, body shaming, overburden, unproductive youth, unhealthy youth. So all of this has to be written in your essay. Apart from that, let's quickly talk about certain words which can be used in this essay. Let's just focus on some vocabulary. We have already dealt with the ideas. Now I want you to tell me certain words that you can think of which can be used in this particular essay. We have mostly discussed the words. One or two words are coming in my head. And another thing, guys, today I have not written any essay because this essay is going to be your homework. The reason I spent so much of time in giving you topic specific vocabulary along with the ideas is that I want you guys to combine these ideas into your essay, use these words and send it to me on the email ID that was mentioned, and I'll pick one essay randomly and you'll have the opportunity to get your essay evaluated live by me during this YouTube live session on Tuesday. So please be sure that you write everything that's written here in a proper manner by using topic specific vocabulary. So other words that I will help you out with are these. So you can use the word prone, vulnerable. These two are synonyms. You can use these two words. And now I want you to be interactive. Tell me certain words that you can think of which can be written in this particular essay. Okay, sedentary lifestyle has already been covered. Overweight, okay. Overweight, that's one topic specific vocabulary. Overweight, okay. You can use the word obese. You can also use the word stoutness. Chronic, very good. Chronic, acute. These are the words you can use depending upon what you're trying to say. Anything else, guys? So you can write the word negative consequences for effects. Anu, see, fatness is correct, but I would not recommend you to use fatness because I don't feel it's like a good word. Better words are overweight, obese, stoutness. Deterioration, good. Repercussions, very good. Fatigue, very nice. Now it depends how you're using these words. I don't know how you guys would end up using these words, but yes, these are appropriate to the question. Okay, so what can you write instead of future? Lethargic, okay. Lethargic, you can use the words diabetes. Please check the spelling of diabetes. A lot of students make mistake with regards to the spelling of diabetes. You can write hypertension, cardiovascular diseases. Okay, now tell me the synonyms of diseases. What else can we write instead of diseases? Yes, Sohail, acute means short time, which is short but painful. Okay, in the upcoming years, very good. Future, not forecast. In the years ahead, that's also right, Anjali. Over a period of time is also fine. Future years, okay, good job. So you can write diseases, you can write ailments, illness. Good job, guys. Amritpal, ailment, Anu, illness, that's good. Disorders, good job again. Syndrome. Now, syndrome is very specific, so you can use in a specific way. And you can use the general terms like issues, problems, concerns. Sick is not right. And the people who were talking about the synonyms of future, it would be future, upcoming years, over the period of time. Okay. Alright, so I guess we have discussed enough words for the vocabulary. You can use these words in your essay, and here also we've used plenty of words for topic specific vocabulary. So I guess today's brainstorming and topic specific vocabulary has been dealt with in depth. Now let's move back quickly to our slide. So this is the question of the day, which also is your homework now. You have to write this particular essay and send it to us on our email ID, and you can use the ideas that we discuss. You can also use the words that we discuss. You can also write extra words that come to your mind and enrich and showcase your wide range of vocabulary, and submit it to us on prepev@gmail.com. I'll pick one essay randomly and we'll be evaluating it live on the session on Tuesday. All right, so yet again, a brief of what needs to be done for all the students who have joined us for the first time today. There are 4 paragraphs that you're supposed to write in your essays. These have been discussed in detail in the previous live videos, so you can go back and watch those. But I'll still try to run through all of these slides quickly. So the first paragraph in any kind of essay is your introduction, which usually has 3 sentences. The first sentence is to paraphrase the question. The second sentence is your thesis statement. The third sentence is your outline sentence. Now, in case the question is asking your opinion, then only you will be writing the thesis statement. If the question is not asking for your opinion, then you omit or you do not write your thesis statement. So paraphrasing the question basically means that you read the question, you understand it, and you write it in your own words without changing the meaning of the question. However, you have to change the wordings. You should not borrow any word from your question. Alright, so this is what you have to do. And in case of your outline sentence, you have to tell the reader what this essay will have in hold for them. That what are you going to talk about. So this sentence more or less looks like this essay will discuss the causes and effects of obesity in the future. Okay, so this is how your outline sentence would look like. So this is your very first paragraph, which is the introduction. The second paragraph is your body paragraph. You have to write 2 body paragraphs, and the way of writing both the body paragraphs is more or less the same. So first of all, in each body paragraph, you have to write 2 ideas each. When you're writing the first body paragraph, you have to open the body paragraph with an introductory sentence or introductory line, which basically means you have to tell the reader what you're going to talk about in that particular paragraph. So in case of this question, since your first paragraph is going to talk about the causes of obesity, then you will be saying that there are numerous causes of obesity. And then you list down 2 causes. You can pick any 2 causes from these. Not these. Any 2 causes from these can be picked up, and you have to elaborate them in your first body paragraph. And how do you do that? You have to basically first of all state your main idea and then elaborate or explain that idea, followed by example or survey to support your idea. Alright, this is what you have to do. Then you have to repeat it for your other ideas, and the same thing has to be done with your second body paragraph, wherein you will be talking about effects when it comes to this question. You will write the first introductory line of your second body paragraph would say there are numerous effects or alarming effects or repercussions in the future, and you list down those ideas by explaining them, giving one example or a survey to support your idea. So each of your body paragraphs would have two ideas each, and that's it for your body paragraphs. Last but not the least, you would conclude your essay by following these rules. You would not repeat any ideas that you have already discussed in your body paragraphs, and also you should not add any new information. Whatever you have written has been written. You don't have to add any new information in your conclusion. You should also not restate your ideas. All you have to do is wind up your essay by keeping in mind the question. That's it, end of the story, and I'm really excited to see the feedback from you guys, which basically means I want you guys to write and send your essays to us, because I have already written some 7 to 8 essays, and by now I think you have a fair enough idea of how to write a decent essay. Okay, so that's it for today. I also have a good news for you guys. We are having a webinar tomorrow. It's going to be a two-way interaction to put an end to all your doubts. What do we mean by two-way interaction? Two-way interaction basically means that you can ask your doubts via audio. Basically, you can speak during the webinar, you can ask your questions instead of typing like you do these days with me during the live. You can talk to me and I can solve your doubts right in front of you during the webinar, which is going to be conducted tomorrow at 8:30 p.m. Indian Standard Time or 11 a.m. EST. Okay, so the ones who are in EST zone can tune into the webinar at 11 a.m. and the ones who are in India can tune into it at 8:30 p.m. So I'll be looking forward to meeting you guys tomorrow. So just stay tuned. The link of the webinar is in the description box. It's also in the chat, and you can click on it and join me tomorrow at the time mentioned here. Okay, let's move on to the doubt section. Yes, Farooq, down the road is informal. It would be preferred if you can type the essay and send it to us, Shah. We can also take up handwritten essays, but because we'll be evaluating in front of you, it would get a little difficult to explain, and it might get a little difficult for others to understand your handwriting. So it's better if you can type and send your essays. You're welcome, Richa. You joined today for the first time. I'm not very sure if you understood the session because you started from in between the sessions. So, to get better understanding, you can watch the previous ones. There, I've also written the essay in front of you guys, so you can watch those videos. Today, I did not write the essay because I had to give you guys this homework. So, yeah, hope you liked the session. Thank you so much, Piyush. It's like 22 viewers right now and 22 likes. Thank you so much. And please follow up with the other videos, and I would look forward for your emails as well. Yes, punctuation is vital. You're welcome, guys. You're welcome, Shah and Sunday. Thank you so much for being with us. I'll quickly tell you about our one-to-one courses. So basically, we provide one-to-one classes on Skype, and As soon as you enroll with us, we'll send you all the material on your email ID, and then there would be one trainer and one student per session, and you get 1 hour of dedicated attention from them. You can ask as many questions as you want, and each and every doubt will be resolved in front of you. Moreover, we follow a very practical approach. Each session with us is a mock test in itself, and after every session you get the feedback. You are told what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and how can you enhance your strengths and work on your weaknesses. So all of that is taken care of. Along with that, we provide you with complete flexibility to manage your time for work, for home, and for studying. So we take extra pains for that we can incorporate your study time in your schedule. And apart from that, you don't have to worry about anything else. Once you're with us, you get the material, you get the feedback, you feel confident, and you see improvement right from the first session. Why? Simply because it's 10 times more effective than any classroom coaching. Because in classroom situation, the ratio of trainer is to the students is like 1 is to 40 or 1 is to 30 or 1 is to 20. Here it's 1 is to 1, one trainer, one student, and you get all the attention that you need for that 1 hour. And we pinpoint each and every mistake that is committed by you in case of your writing, in case of your speaking, as well as in case of your listening and reading. So that's it for today. Thank you so much for staying with me, guys. And I'll just quickly show you the webinar slide. This is when the webinar would be conducted. So you can take a screenshot of this slide so that you don't miss out on the webinar. And apart from that, this is the question. You can also take the screenshot of this slide and write down the answer to this question. Okay, and ultimately this is the email ID where you have to send your entries, and make sure that you type it instead of writing it. In case of our Skype sessions, if you enroll into our one-to-one courses, we definitely evaluate handwritten letters and essays and writings also. But in case of the live session, I want you to write it on your, I want you to type it on your laptop or computers, because of the simple reason that it should be easily understood by everybody who is watching the session. Okay, so that's it for today, and bye bye, guys. All the very best, and I'll see you on Monday now. Tomorrow we have a webinar, so I'll be busy with the webinar. We'll have the next live session on Monday. So see you guys on Monday. Bye bye, take care, and do the ritual. Like the video, subscribe to our channel if you have not already done that, and share this playlist with your friends and your family members to help them out as well. Thank you so much.